Hello, everyone. It's your boy Jeff. Welcome to the 93rd Spin Zone. We are slowly crawling towards 100. Who knows? Maybe I'll get there by the end of the year, right? At this rate that I'm going. But aside from my usual showing you the last 10, or in this case, I think I have 11 records to show that I've played here recently. Dedicating the Spin Zone to my buddy Eric Weinbender. For those of you who don't know, he was in a bad car crash, was laid up in the hospital, is still there actually, and the show of support through the VC has been phenomenal, and I just wanted to add my voice to it. I donated to the GoFundMe. I'll have to try to find it and put a link to it in the doobly-doo below. And yeah, even though most other people will be watching this video, Eric, if you're watching this, as far as I'm concerned right now, it's just you and me talking records and stuff like that. So your musical tastes is just as varied as mine, if not more so. And yeah, I loved our meetup last month. You're just as genuine as you come across in your videos. You know, there's nothing fake about you. You're a genuine guy, very warm, very friendly, caring, just a gem of a guy. So like I said, if you're watching this, we can spend a little time here together talking records like this one. This was a one of the Tone Poets that was on sale during Amazon Prime Day. So there were two of them. The other one is going to pop up here later on. Tender Moments by McCoy Tyner. I know you like Donald Byrd. I like Donald Byrd too. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on McCoy Tyner, but sound quality wise, you really can't go wrong with the Tone Poets from Blue Note. So when I saw these go up on Prime Day sale, I didn't blink an eye. I just automatically bought. So and this was a wonderful piano-based jazz record. You know, McCoy Tyner is famous for that, and I liked it, and it's just a good way to expand some of my jazz horizons. I think you're a little more into jazz than I am, or are you? Yeah, I'm still swimming in the shallow end of the jazz pool. This album here is fantastic. This is something I got from my buddy Tim over at High Noon's Vinyl. Soul Insight by the Marcus King Band. Fantastic record. I mean, just a fantastic modern blues rock record. You know, listening to this gives me hope for the future. You know, it reminds me, he's got, you know, definitely a great soulful voice, plays great guitar. If I had to compare this, it would probably be like first hearing Robert Cray in the 80s. Like when I first heard Strong Persuader, you know, that album, and I heard Smoking Gun on the radio. It was like that. You know, it was like, wow, this guy gives me some hope for, you know, blues, or at least blues-based rock here in the 21st century, where, you know, it's tough out there if you're a blues guy. So, I don't know if you know about Marcus King, Eric, but this album, I think Tim told me this has been re-released with extra bonus tracks, and this was his older copy that he replaced this. So he gave me his this was his older copy, but it really doesn't matter because the music on this is fantastic. If you like I said, soulful vocals, good strong guitar, you know, it's I think he's got a couple of other albums out, according to what Tim told me, but if you haven't checked him out, I would highly recommend Marcus King. Another band that you guys all know, I don't know if you know, Eric, I'm sure you do if you watch my videos, is how much I love the band Shoes. Their album Present Tense spent ages on my turntable when I first got it. This is their debut album. This is actually on an independent label called Black Vinyl Shoes. And I know Hannah over at the Omaha Introvert was really the reason why I know about Shoes. So I know she's talked this album up. It's just as great as, you know, I heard Present Tense before I heard this one. As far as I'm concerned, they're both, you know, great records. Just very smartly produced power pop. You know, these guys are from Illinois too. From Zion, Illinois, which actually isn't all that far from here. But yeah, this is just a textbook classic example of what power pop is. So, and there's a lot of tracks on this, as you can see on the back cover here. There's a lot of songs on this thing. So I have another Shoes album called Boomerang still in my crate, which is going to get spun here real soon. But I wanted to go back and start at the beginning and see where it all started with these guys. Can't say enough good things about Shoes, so highly recommended. Highly recommended. Eric, do you like Neil Young? I think you do. Not sure exactly how much. I don't recall seeing tons of Neil Young in your videos, but I picked this up a couple of months ago. I had a Barnes & Noble coupon, actually. And I didn't even know this existed when I came across it at the Barnes & Noble. It's a live album called Return to Greendale. Neil plays basically the Greendale album with Crazy Horse. And the studio album of Greendale, I don't think it was ever released on vinyl. If it was very, very limited. It's very, very rare and expensive. Hoping that someday it gets reissued as part of the Neil Young archives, which is where this album came from. But this was pretty enjoyable. It's like a concept album in a way, which is kind of strange when those words don't seem to really go together, a Neil Young concept album. But, you know, it's all about the town of Greendale and, you know, what goes on there and the people that live there and all that other stuff. It's really hard to explain. Live, I have to say, if there's one knock on this album that I'm going to give it, it's that all these songs tended to sound samey. They're all played kind of the same pace and rhythm. They're all kind of like low to mid-gear rockers. There's like no oomph to a lot of these songs. There's just like long riffs and extended, you know, not so much solos, but just letting the chords just drone on. It's not necessarily like that with the studio album, but in a live setting, by the time I got to the second disc, I was like, okay, I think I'm getting a little bit done. Neil's not perfect, you know, what can I say? Still enjoyed it. Still glad to have something from this era on vinyl. But, it's just okay, you know? One thing that I'm super glad to have on vinyl, which I also happened to discover through an ad on Instagram, I believe, is Stevie Ray Vaughan, Wisconsin, 1990. I'm fairly certain that you are a fan of Mr. Vaughan there, Eric. This is an amazing sounding record, except for the last track. I think that it must have come from a different source, because this album is the very last show that Stevie Ray Vaughan ever played, on the night of his helicopter crash, August 27th, 1990. And it must have been, NPR must have recorded it, because at the beginning there's you hear the announcer saying, you know, this is NPR, National Public Radio, and then it goes right into Stevie playing. So sound quality wise, it's way better than the other album I have from the night before. It was his second to last show. That one does not sound all that good at all. I mean, I have it just to have it, but this sounds really, really nice. So anytime you can get a radio broadcast from the soundboard, which I'm assuming is the source for this record, it's going to sound really, really good. So it's also, you know, it's bittersweet, because this was the last time we would ever hear Stevie play. So listening to it was great, but it was also pretty sad. So it's worth having. I mean, I'm as close to a super fan of Stevie Ray Vaughan's as anyone, so I had to have it as soon as I heard about it. But you know, I can't believe it's going to be 31 years next month. Man, it still feels like yesterday. Most of these last batch of records were ones that I just showed in my last video from the record show. So, like Talking Heads, Stop Making Sense. The nice thing about these records that I bought at the show was that none of them required cleaning. You know, just a little bit of surface dust, but all these records were damn near brand new. So used to have a copy of Stop Making Sense, you know, in another life. And I was very glad to reacquire this. The live versions on this album really add a lot of energy to the songs, especially like Once in a Lifetime, Burning Down the House, Girlfriend is Better, you know. And I like this version of Psycho Killer on this album with the beatbox beginning and David Byrne with just an acoustic guitar singing. It makes the song even more creepy and paranoid, if that makes any sense. But I'm gonna stop making sense now and move on to the next record. Yeah, I know. Whew. The other Tone Poet that I got on Amazon Prime Day was Prayer Meeting by Jimmy Smith with Stanley Turrentine. I'd gotten a coupon from Amazon like the week before Prime Day for $10 off, or $10 to spend. So when I saw this go up on Prime sale, it was like $20.86 or something. So I jumped on it, used my coupon, and I paid just over 10 bucks for a Tone Poet. So this was my big deal of the Prime Day. And it's worth it, because I'm a little familiar with Jimmy Smith. I used to have, what did I used to have by him? I used to have Jimmy Smith in a brown paper bag. Is that the name of the album? Again, in another life, and I liked it. So I'm slightly familiar with Jimmy Smith. You know, he plays the organ, Stanley Turrentine on sax, and this is a very it's more of a bluesy jazz album, you know, precisely because of Jimmy Smith and the way he plays the organ. So, what are your thoughts on Jimmy Smith, Eric? Do you like Jimmy Smith? I think they just put another, not a tone poet, but a Blue Note classic of Back at the Chicken Shack, which is on my want list. So probably going to delve a little bit deeper into the Jimmy Smith corner of the jazz universe here in the near future. But like I said, you can't go wrong with these tone poets, and for that kind of deal, I couldn't resist. So and then, still staying in that slightly jazzy realm, showed this in my last video, played King Curtis live at the Fillmore West. I know in my last video I said Fillmore East because I'm a dummy, but this was, I know these guys were a big influence. King Curtis was a big influence on the Allman Brothers. I think he was even friends with Duane Allman. And this is just, it's like funky jazz versions of like pop and rock songs. Like I read a lot of the song titles on the last video, but just hearing him cover Whole Lotta Love was kind of a trip. So this was a good listen. I played this the other night when I was cooking dinner, so it made the chore of cooking a little more pleasant. And I know you love to cook because that's your job, Eric. So someday you're gonna cook me dinner. Played Kansas Left Overture in honor of Robbie Steinhardt, who had passed away this week. He was their violinist. This was VCLT from Red over at Redco Music. He sent me this a while back, and Carry On Wayward Son is the big hit off of this album, but the rest of it is really quite good. I'd never listened to Left Overture all the way through before, so you know, it's kind of proggy, it's kind of rocky, it's kind of, you know, the mix of sounds that Kansas was known for. So I actually really quite like this album, you know, beyond Carry On Wayward Son. The rest of it is really good too. I think there's a song in here called The Wall, which I actually heard on the radio the other day when and the DJ mentioned the death of Robbie Steinhardt. So yeah, I like Kansas. I dig them. Okay, these last two, again, were from the Record Show video. Had to play Luther Allison, Bad News Is Coming. You know, fantastic record. Can't say enough good things about it. And I think I misspoke. I think this was reissued like in the early 2010s, but I still haven't seen this album anywhere in person until Sunday when I got this copy. So it's still kind of a hard record to find. You could stream it. I mean, I'm sure it's easily available if you wanted to stream it, just to check out the music. Either way, you know, whether you get a physical copy or streaming it, it's a great blues album. So again, can't say enough good about that. And last but not least, another Record Show find was Crusade by John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. Again, featuring Mick Taylor on guitar. And, you know, again, I got to marvel at the foresight that John Mayall had, because, you know, when Eric Clapton played in the Blues Breakers, he wasn't Eric Clapton yet, you know, he hadn't even been in Cream or anything. He was had just left the Yardbirds. And Peter Green, you know, wasn't a huge star either. And of course, Mick Taylor wasn't a huge star either. I mean, he played with the Rolling Stones, but after that, his career is a little, probably less well known than Clapton or Green. But still, for a run for a 3-album run, I gotta say, John Mayall really kicked ass through those 3 records. And you can argue back and forth, you know, which one was better, you know, the Beano one with Clapton, or Hard Road with Peter Green, or this one with Mick Taylor. But you know what? All 3 are great for different reasons, but really the main reason is the music. And as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to British blues, you know, John Mayall is one of the all-time greats. And Blues Breakers is just a great band name too, isn't it? I love that name. That's actually the name of the on the one FM station I still listen to, WXRT. They have it used to be on Monday nights, but they moved it to Sunday, and the name of that show is called Blues Breakers. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to necessarily go any further into Mayall's catalog. I might, but just having the 3 albums, you know, and I'll show you the other 2 you can see here on the cover, are really, really worth having, even if you're just a casual British blues fan. So, Beano, Hard Road, and Crusade. Those are the 3 you need. You got that, Eric? All right. That's it. That's what I've got for this time. Eric, man, when I heard about your accident and I saw the picture of your car, I was scared out of my mind, man. I thought I was thinking the worst, and then, you know, when I watched your video, you know, I know you're recovering, but still supremely worried about you. You know, Cora and I are thinking about you. We're praying for you and your family. Hoping that you recover, you know, quickly. And those Mustangs, man, I drive a Mustang too, and they're squirrely. Unless you have a Shelby or one of the high-end ones that has independent suspension, the suspension on like your average Mustang or even a GT like I have is really kind of sucky. There have been times when I've been zooming along the road and I hit a bump and the ass end just wants to kick out, and you know, sometimes the car just wants to go where it wants to go. And I won't even talk about trying to drive a Mustang in Chicago in the winter. No lie, there have been so many times I've been going sideways down the street because I just can't get any traction. My wheels are spinning, I'm just cutting the wheel, I'm trying to get the car to straighten out, and it just was going sideways. So I understand, you know, how careful you have to be with those Mustangs and how they can bite you back. So I'm worried about you, brother. I'm thinking about you. And, you know, you have my phone number. I know I sent you a text probably a couple days before your accident. Just, I had a feeling. You know, I had a funny feeling that something, that I just wanted to check up on you and make sure you're okay. You know, call it premonition, call it a tremor in the force, or whatever you want to, but yeah, if you ever want to talk, you got my phone number. I might try calling you at some point here in the near future, maybe once I know you're out of the hospital. And yeah, love you, man, and dedicating the Spin Zone to you. So I know you'll continue to get the VC. You know, we're all behind you. We're all supporting you. We all love you. So yeah, I'll be in touch, man. But just focus on getting yourself better, getting yourself recovered, and just moving on from this. So whatever you need help for, just all you gotta do is call. So peace, brother. I love you. And everybody else, thank you for watching. Yeah, I'll talk with you soon. Everybody take care and drive safe.